Hey everyone, Haley here from The Foiled Plan. Today I'm going to share with you a quick tutorial on how to create a crackle effect with a glitter peekaboo on a tumbler. Let's get into it. If you are already a foiled friend, thank you for joining me again today, and if you're new here, welcome. I share a lot of different content on my channel. Things like design videos, Cricut crafts, foiling, dollar store DIYs, epoxy tumblers, unboxings, and pretty much anything related to running a small creative business. So if that sort of content interests you, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button to become a foiled friend and turn the notification bell on so you never miss an uploaded video. Now that you know a little bit more about my channel, let's jump into today's video. Alright, so as mentioned, I'm going to share with you today how I created this crackle effect on my tumbler. Now, I am creating this video today with the assumption that you already have a basic knowledge of tumbler making, because I am starting out with a stainless steel tumbler that has already been cured with epoxy and glitter. That is what I'm starting out as my base. So if you do not know how to work with epoxy, definitely do your research. This is fully cured, and that's why I'm moving on to the next step. So if you don't really know how to do that process, that's definitely something to look into before you move on to something like Crackle. So you definitely want to make sure that you are starting with a nice smooth base. So I was fortunate enough to achieve my smooth finish in one coat of epoxy. It may take you more than that depending on what your glitter situation is like. If you're using something really chunky, it might be longer. But start with a smooth base, and then we're just going to take some Elmer's glue. So this is just straight up kids craft glue, the white stuff. You'll see the bottle kind of peeking around the corner, I'm sure, at some point in this video. And you're just going to do light layers all the way around the cup, and make sure you don't forget the bottom. Now, I am applying this with a sponge, and that worked really, really well for me, and there was no streakiness or anything, and it applied really nicely. So I definitely recommend doing that. And then I just used one of these little cups because they are easy to kind of flatten out and get the entire brush in there, and really douse it with your glue before you add it. When you are applying the glue, just make sure that there's no runs or big sort of globby bits. Oh, that was a gross. I don't know why I chose those words, but anyways, and make sure you get all the way to the top, or in this case, bottom of the cup, depending on how you're looking at it. You want to make sure the whole cup is coated in glue. And then I'm just taking my heat tool, and we want to heat up the cup. Well, okay, we're not heating up the cup, we're trying to dry the glue. And we only want it to be dried to the state of tackiness. We don't want it to be completely dry. So you won't need to do this for very long, but just kind of go over the whole cup until you'll see the glue slowly start to turn transparent. But don't go any longer than that, just because, again, we just want it tacky, not fully dry. Alright, so now it's time to add the paint. So I'm just taking white acrylic craft paint from the dollar store. I got this paint from Dollarama. And then I'm just taking a thick brush, and I am going to lay down a thin layer of the paint all over the cup. I'm going to start from the bottom of the cup and then work my way down to the top. I know those words together don't really make sense, but in this case it does because the cup's upside down. Anyways, don't have your paint too thick, otherwise this effect doesn't work as well. I mean, it's a personal preference thing. If you want the pieces really, really thick, then go for it. But I like it as thin as possible because then you really get that sort of like shattered, crackly effect. And try not to go over the same spot again, so just one and done. If there's a little bit at the bottom where your paint didn't quite reach, then go ahead and just add a little bit more, but never go over the same line like top to bottom, because you're just gonna lift paint away and potentially lift the glue away that is underneath, and you don't want that because the glue is what makes the paint separate, which is what we want to get the effect. Anyways, you can use whatever brush you want. I would definitely suggest using something with bristles though. The thicker and bristlier, which is now a word I'm coining, the better. And ew, that was a chunk of paint in there. That was gross, but I got rid of it. Just use the brush and get your chunks out. Ugh, what a gross word. I'm on a roll with these today. I digress. Anyways, so we're just going around the entire cup with the paint, and make sure that you don't forget the bottom, unless you don't want paint on the bottom. And then, you know what? You do you. Whatever you like. And you'll see that the crackling and the separation is starting to take effect, which is awesome. If you want to speed that up a little bit, then go ahead and just add a little bit of air, whether it's from a heat gun, I was about to say a blowtorch. Do not blowtorch your cup. If you have a little fan or a heat gun or a blow dryer, then just add some air that way. Otherwise, you can just leave this and let it sit. I let my cup sit overnight, and then I added another layer of epoxy in the morning. And then you could be done your cup there, or you can add another decal. Not another, the only decal. You can add a decal to it, and then seal that in with another layer of epoxy, which is exactly what I did. So I used epoxy for the base layer with the glitter, then I did the crackle effect, then I did epoxy, then I did a vinyl decal, and then I did another layer of epoxy, and then it was done. So quite a process, but pretty cool look once all is said and done. So you'll likely notice some of the bubbles in the paint, which is not really a big deal, especially after it's fully dried. And then once you epoxy over it, it's not really that noticeable. And if anything, to me, it looks more authentic because that's what paint does on old rustic things. Anyways, this is the cup turning with the final layer of epoxy on it after the decal was placed. You can see that glitter just sort of peekabooing through the crackle effect, which I absolutely love. And yeah, so this is what the cup ends up looking like. I didn't actually mention this in the beginning of the video, but this was my very first attempt at this crackle effect on a tumbler. So if that's any indication at how easy this is to do, then there you go. If I can do it, you can definitely do it. If you guys feel inspired to try this out, then I would love to see your creations. So when you post your pictures on Instagram, be sure to tag me so that I can see what you have made. Anyways, I hope you guys have a super awesome day. That's all I'm gonna say. Bye.